Great. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. I thought I'd use this as an opportunity to brief on U.S. priorities for the upcoming First Committee meetings in New York beginning October 8. The first priority for the U.S. delegation is to counter Russian and Chinese outer space and cyber threats. As you know, the Russians and Chinese have been quite active, not only at First Committee, but also at the Conference on Disarmament. So we want to push back against initiatives that we think run counter to our national security interests and those of our allies and partners. The second is to promote this concept called the creating the conditions for further nuclear disarmament. Some of you may remember that the NPT PrepCom earlier this year, the United States introduced a paper on this topic, which in essence is to have a dialogue with the broader international community about how we can create conditions around the world so that we can move forward with nuclear disarmament. Because right now, the international climate with regard to international security climate is a very difficult one and makes, in our view, the likelihood of further progress in the near term very challenging at a minimum. So we want to actually have a further dialogue, elaborate on this proposal that we have, and so we'll be following up on this at First Committee and again at the next NPT PrepCom next year in New York. The last priority is we want to continue to uphold the norm against chemical weapons use. And we have seen, as you all know, we have made very clear our opposition to serious use of chemical weapons against its own people. And this year we have the added element of Russian use of chemical weapons in Salisbury, England. So given this latest concern about Russian activity, we believe it's important that we redouble our efforts to strengthen this norm against chemical weapons use. So those are the three main priorities. I would also note that the head of our delegation will be Undersecretary for Arms Control and International Security Affairs, Andrea Thompson. And she will also be in New York for what are known as the P5 Principals Meeting. And that's a meeting that will take place on October 10 between the key disarmament and non-proliferation figures in the permanent five-member countries to talk about broader arms control and non-proliferation issues. So we've got a very busy agenda in New York this year at First Committee, as we always do. And so you've heard our priorities, and I'm happy to open up the floor to take questions.